July 19th, 2026, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Under the lights of MetLife Stadium, in front of more than 70,000 fans, the football world witnessed history repeat itself. Spain, the nation that once redefined the sport with a golden generation, stood once again on the biggest stage. And once again, they walked away as champions. This is the story of how Spain conquered the world for the second time. Let's rewind. The 2026 World Cup was unlike any before it. For the first time, the tournament was hosted across 3 nations: the United States, Mexico, and Canada. 48 teams, a bigger stage than ever. And through all of it, one team played with a clarity of purpose that set them apart from everyone else. Spain, under head coach Luis de la Fuente, built their campaign on a philosophy that has defined Spanish football for nearly 2 decades. Control the ball, control the game. Match after match, opponents found themselves chasing shadows, unable to get a foothold against Spain's relentless possession game. It wasn't flashy in the way some expected. It was surgical, patient, suffocating. And standing in their way in the final was a team many believed was destined for one last fairy tale. Argentina, the defending champions, led by the man who has carried the sport on his shoulders for 2 decades, Lionel Messi. This was being billed as Messi's final World Cup. At 38 years old, this was likely his last dance on football's grandest stage, and Argentina came into the final hoping to send him off with back-to-back titles. A repeat of their emotional triumph over France back in 2022. The stage was set. 2 footballing giants, 1 trophy, and a global audience watching every single move. The match itself was tense from the very first whistle. Neither team wanted to make the first mistake. Spain, true to form, dominated the ball, patiently probing Argentina's defense, looking for the smallest crack. Argentina, meanwhile, sat deep, absorbed pressure, and looked to hit on the counter, relying on the brilliance of their attacking talent and the reflexes of goalkeeper Emiliano "Dibu" Martinez. Chance after chance came and went for Spain. Shot after shot, corner after corner, Spain pushed relentlessly, but Martinez stood tall, delivering save after save, a wall Spain simply could not breach. 90 minutes came and went. No goals. The tension in the stadium was suffocating. Regulation time ended in deadlock. Then, deep into stoppage time, the match tilted. Argentina's Enzo Fernandez, under the immense pressure of the moment, picked up a red card. In an instant, Argentina were down to 10 men, and the balance of the biggest match of the year shifted in Spain's favor. Extra time began, and Spain smelled blood. With fresh legs and a numerical advantage, they pressed even harder. Martinez continued his heroics, racking up save after save, keeping Argentina alive against the odds. It felt like it was only a matter of time before the dam would break. And then, in the 106th minute, early in the second half of extra time, it happened. Nico Williams, who had come off the bench earlier in the match, found space and picked out Ferran Torres, another substitute who had entered the game in the second half, with a perfectly weighted pass. 1 touch, 1 clinical finish, and the ball was in the net. Enough to deny Spain. When the final whistle blew, the celebrations began in earnest. Spain's captain, Rodri, lifted the golden trophy high above his head as his teammates surrounded him, screaming, embracing, disbelieving that the moment had finally arrived. Confetti rained down over MetLife Stadium as the Spanish national anthem. For Lionel Messi, it was a quieter, more somber scene. The greatest player of his generation, denied one final World Cup crown, walked off the pitch to applause from fans who understood they may have just watched him play his last match on this stage. It was a bittersweet end to a career that redefined the sport. But for Spain, this was pure, unfiltered joy. This victory marked their 2nd World Cup title in history, their first since that unforgettable triumph back in 2010. 16 years of hunger, 16 years of near misses and disappointments, all washed away in a single moment in New Jersey. And remarkably, this World Cup win completed a stunning double for Spain, coming just 2 years after their triumph at Euro 2024. The tournament itself will be remembered for so much more than just the football. The final featured a historic halftime show, with even the closing ceremony felt like a celebration of not just football, but of global culture coming together on one stage. And through all of the spectacle, all of the noise, all of the pressure, Spain's approach never wavered. Their game plan was simple in theory, but nearly impossible to execute at the highest level. Control the ball, wear down the opponent, and trust that quality would eventually prevail. In a final that many critics called one of the most cautious and tense in recent memory, it was exactly that philosophy that delivered the trophy. Ferran Torres' name will now be etched into World Cup history forever, alongside legends like Iniesta, whose extra-time winner in 2010 delivered Spain's first title. 2 different eras, 2 different heroes, but the same result: a nation celebrating as world champions. As the trophy was lifted under the lights of MetLife Stadium, one chapter of football history closed, and another began. Spain proved once again that patience beats chaos, that possession is more than just a statistic. It's a weapon. And for a new generation of fans watching around the world, this final will be remembered as the moment Spain reclaimed their place at the very top of the football world. So tell me, where were you when Ferran Torres scored that winner? Did you think Spain had it won, or were you holding your breath until the very last whistle? Let me know in the comments below.